lectures. A couple of reasons. One is to possibly facilitate a shift in one's point of view. To take you from place A to place B, possibly. To offer maybe a different, trickier point of view. A point of view that may be more challenging. And I always say that if you can walk away from the lecture with one thing that you can use, just one, I've done my job. If it's 2 or 3 or 4, well, what a pleasure. I always summarize the lecture at the end, so if you feel like having a nap, you may, and pick up at the end. But seriously, it's the idea is to challenge. As some of you are well aware, I'm very passionate about what I do. So everything that I present, I've put into what I call the laboratory. I've kind of tested it out. Tried it on myself, tried it on other people. He's a great lab rat. Well, actually. And so is my wife. And I don't know where she is at the moment. She's probably scurrying around. Sorry. No. So I've tested it out, and the stuff seems to work. And I wouldn't dream of trying to present something that was kind of just out of a book. So it's real, it's live. That being said, I'm going to start. Okay, decisions. Wasn't quite sure what to put in here, but okay. It comes from, to decide, comes from the Latin decidere, which means to cut off, or cedere, which is to cut. Well, that's a bit strange. It's like cut off. And I thought about that. I thought, when you decide something, often what happens is you do cut off other possibilities. And even if you were to take a pair of scissors and just cut something, you've got 2 things, but they're not together, they're separate. It's now something different. So to make a decision means, in that moment, something different is going to happen. It has to. So, my first question to the group that shall resist me, I can tell, is this. Why is there, so I'd say deciding equals power. So, D equals P. Yeah? My question is, why is that? Decisions equal power. Why am I saying that? Why do you think I'm saying that? Imagine a boat. We go back to the original meaning of the word. Imagine a boat tethered.
Yeah.
And we can rowing and rowing, or setting sail, or whatever it is. While we have that tether, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There isn't a new start. Cut the tether. You know, we cut ourselves off from the mainland or whatever. Suddenly, we have that chance to, it's something new.
Yeah.
New possibilities.
Yeah.
Consequence of actions. It's my wife's favourite comment. She walks around going, consequence of actions. Consequence of actions. She's something there. She's gone again. But truly, you know, so something happens to someone, or they do something, she goes, yeah, but you know what? And it's quite an interesting mantra to have. Because one of the things that happens is it can stop you from acting, which is a problem, so we must be careful with that part, kind of keep you in a stagnant state, or it can actually move you forward. So, decisions. If a lack of decisions is drain, there's action, there are results, there's progress, new starts, and you set the course, clarity, control, direction. These are all hugely powerful words. I mean, it sounds like decisions are quite important. Huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Confidence, consequence, forward. See, I can read my handwriting mostly. If none, limbo, and limbo is, we'll talk about that now, obviously is often a solution, and others will take control, we'll talk about that now too. Gives us a sense of identity. Yeah, absolutely. Excitement, release. I think that's it for the moment. Okay. So, what I've said is that life happens, and it kind of takes on this and this. What I'm about to say is, life happens, and some of you would have heard this, by omission or by commission. Life carries on happening. And omission is because we do nothing about it, but it'll happen anyway, something. Commission means we're the captain of our ship, as it were. But it happens anyway. Isn't that interesting? It's like, life doesn't just nothing. It continues. And the reality is that wouldn't it be better to operate by commission rather than omission? If we do it by omission, absolutely what Geraldine was saying is someone else is running the show. Because if we don't act, someone else must. Or something else must. The gods or whatever. But do you know what I'm saying? It's like, unless we're doing it, something else will. So we may as well do it. Even if we screw up completely. It's just a thought. Okay, so I speak here about indecision, and the fact that indecision, if we don't make up our mind, it does all sorts of things. Besides limbo, is it puts us in a state of lethargy. Ever experienced that? Okay. It also puts us in a state of no direction. We mentioned that in the opposite. Gives us direction if we made a decision. And we stagnate. Kind of a bit like having, you know, the boat tethered to the shore. We're just not going to go anywhere. But I think the most important thing, and one of the reasons why decision making is so important, is that we get miserable. Because in essence, the system, the being, whatever we want to call ourselves, needs forward movement. We actually need it. It's part of who we are. We like growth. We like progress. Someone said to me yesterday, "I like making money." You know, yeah. Why? Because I want to move forward. I want to grow something. We all like to grow something. So, okay, and I suppose the biggie is that if we don't decide, it goes further than misery. Because past misery, oh, I'm feeling miserable. And a lot of people use this, they go, oh, I'm depressed. Actually, you're just miserable. Depression is far worse and far harder to sort. And then, of course, after depression, often comes illness. Sometimes we jump from misery to illness, and we'll get sick. We'll actually get sick, physically sick. Sometimes it's just mentally sick, but often we'll get physically sick through lack of decision, for whatever reason. Obviously, not all illness is because we're not making a decision, but if you think about it, if our energy is stagnating, we're not going to be well. If we're not well, our immune system is going to diminish. If our immune system diminishes, we get unwell, we get sick. So it's really important. It's kind of like to decide is equals survival. Besides power, that's kind of the top level thing of it. Besides that, it's fundamental survival stuff. So yeah, okay. So besides getting sick and unwell, what happens is others can manipulate us. Anyone been manipulated before? Yeah? Sure. Okay. And the only reason why we can be manipulated is because someone else is more certain than we are. That's a weird one. The only reason we can be manipulated is because someone else is more certain, stroke decisive than we are.
And we accept that.
Of course. Or we might fight it initially, but if they come across very strongly, very powerfully, then what will happen is we go, oh, right then,